There comes a moment in every life when silence speaks louder than sound. A moment where the weight of unused potential, the sting of hesitation, and the ache of dreams deferred gathers in the soul like thunder on the edge of a storm. It's in that silence that the truth whispers life does not reward the cautious. It does not bow to the hesitant. It does not grant crowns to those who tiptoe through their days. Life rewards the bold. The bold are not reckless, they are resolved. The bold are not fearless, they are forged. Forged in the fires of risk, sharpened by failure, and elevated by a decision to show up fully, speak unapologetically, and move deliberately, even when the path is unclear. Boldness is not a gift, it is a muscle. One you build by stepping into discomfort, by claiming space in a world that wants you quiet, by looking uncertainty in the face and saying, I'm ready. Because the truth is, your future doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most courageous. The ones who knock, not once, but until the door breaks open. The ones who do not need perfect conditions to act. The ones who understand that safety is an illusion known, that comes at the cost of their soul. You want the extraordinary? Then you must do what the ordinary will not. You must ask. You must dare. You must walk into rooms you feel unqualified for and speak with the authority of someone who remembers why they came. Because life rewards the bold. Boldness begins in the mind, in a mindset that rejects comfort as king, that sees fear not as a stop sign, but as a signal that what you seek is just beyond it. It's not the fear that holds you back. It's the decision to obey it. It's the mental habit of hesitation, the addiction to waiting for validation, waiting for timing, waiting for permission. But no one is coming to rescue you from the prison of your own delay. You are the hero. You are the rescuer. You are the one you've been waiting for. And it begins with a choice to believe something radical, that you belong here, that your voice matters, that your ideas are valid, that your dreams are not random, they are assignments. Assignments coded into your soul, looking for a bold steward to carry them out. You must adopt a mindset that sees rejection as redirection, that sees obstacles as invitations, that understands. The bold do not avoid resistance, they are refined by it. They don't ask if they're worthy. They decide it, they declare it, they live it, and that belief, it changes everything. Because when you believe in your worth, your time becomes sacred. Your vision becomes non-negotiable. Your standards rise. You stop shrinking to fit rooms you were meant to expand. You stop playing small. Because you realize playing small doesn't serve the world. It only comforts your insecurity. But boldness liberates others. Boldness says, if I can rise, so can you. And from that belief comes clarity. Clarity is the compass of the bold. Clarity is not found in confusion. It's not found in clutter. It's found in silence, in solitude, in the still moments where you ask yourself the hardest question, what do I want? What do I really, deeply, unapologetically want? Not what they told me to want, not what is safe to want, what burns in me, what keeps me awake, what lights me up when I speak it, even if it terrifies me. That clarity is not a luxury, it is a requirement. Because without it, you will be bold in the wrong direction. You will hustle without purpose, grind without grace, move without meaning. Clarity creates alignment. And once you have clarity, vision follows. Vision is not a fantasy. Vision is a future you can see with your heart before your eyes. Vision is the bold blueprint of a life not yet lived but desperately desired. Vision is what pulls you forward when motivation fails. It is what whispers, keep going, when the world shouts, give up. But vision without boldness is just a dream. And dreams are fragile when not acted upon. They break under the weight of someday. Vision requires purpose. Purpose is your why. Purpose is the flame that burns beneath your goals. Purpose is the reason you refuse to stay where it's comfortable. It's the reason you get up early, stay up late, and keep showing up when no one's watching. And when your purpose is bold, your life becomes a message that says, I was here, I mattered, I didn't hide, I didn't shrink, I didn't tiptoe through life hoping not to be noticed. I stood up, I showed up, I gave everything I had. But none of this happens without discipline. Discipline is the gatekeeper. Discipline is what turns bold thoughts into bold action. Discipline is what keeps your feet moving when your feelings waver. The bold do not wait to feel like it. They act. And in that action, they create momentum. And momentum is power. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. With consistency, with fire, with focus. Action is the separator. Most people think, some plan, few act. The bold act. And because they act, they get feedback, they get results, they get stronger. Every action, no matter how small, compounds. Every day you move forward, even a little, you are rewiring your identity. You are proving to yourself that you are not a prisoner of your past, you are the architect of your future. And in that process, you discover gratitude. Gratitude is not passive. It is not soft. Gratitude is fierce. Gratitude says, I will not waste this breath, this moment, this gift. Gratitude is the bold realization that everything is a miracle. Even the pain, even the loss, even the failure. Because the bold do not resent the struggle, they repurpose it. They don't ask, why me? They ask, what now? Gratitude gives you perspective. It grounds you. It reminds you that no matter how far you have to go, you are already further than you once were. It sharpens your adaptability. Because when you're grateful, you're flexible. You stop resisting the winds of change and learn to harness them. You stop fearing the unknown and start seeing it as a playground for growth. The bold are not rigid. They bend, but do not break. They evolve. They learn. Learning is not an event. It is a way of life. The bold never stop learning because they know the more they grow, the more they can give. The more they learn, the more they can lead. Learning is the humility to admit, I don't know it all, but I'm willing to find out. And that humility, it births resilience. Resilience is not toughness. It's transformation. Resilience is the bold ability to bounce forward, not just back. To turn every setback into a setup. To look at failure and say, thank you. Now watch me rise. Because resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built in the fire. And when you come through the fire bold, you don't fear it anymore. You become it. You become the fire that lights others. You become the example. You become the proof that life doesn't reward the lucky, or the loud, or the likable. Life rewards the bold. And if you're ready, it's your time to live with purpose, to move with clarity, to speak with conviction, to stand with courage, to act with urgency, and to remember every day, your life is the message. Make it bold, make it loud, make it unforgettable. Because unforgettable lives are not written in whispers. They're carved into the fabric of time with fire, with presence, with decisions that echo louder than excuses. You want to be unforgettable? Be bold in your love. Be bold in your dreams. Be bold in your forgiveness. Be bold in your standards. Stop watering down your light to keep others comfortable in their shadows. When you choose boldness, you stop living by default. You start living by design. No more passive days. No more coasting. No more, let's see what happens. No, you decide what happens. You take the pen back from the hands of chance and write your story in ink that doesn't erase when the world pushes back. You rise with intention. You move with power. You walk into rooms not hoping to be accepted, but ready to make a difference. The bold don't need validation. They walk in with values. They don't need applause. They walk in with alignment. And because they walk that way, doors open. Not because they begged, but because they brought something the room was missing. And when life doesn't open the door, they kick it in. They create new doors. Because the bold don't wait for opportunity, they create it. Let me say this clearly. Boldness is not a personality trait. It is a decision, a moment-by-moment commitment to not betray your soul just to make others comfortable. It is choosing truth over popularity, purpose over approval, mission over mediocrity. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Growth always is. Yes, people will misunderstand you. They're not meant to understand a bold soul building something they've never seen. Yes, you will fail. But the bold see failure as data, as evidence that they tried, as feedback to refine the method, not indict the mission. Every bold person you admire has a trail of setbacks behind them. What makes them different is that they didn't let those setbacks become stop signs. They let them become stepping stones. They rose again and again, not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. Because life doesn't hand you greatness. It hides it. Behind risk. Behind rejection. Behind repetition. And only the bold dig deep enough to reach it. Now let's talk about energy. Boldness demands it. And energy is not found. It's cultivated. It's a result of alignment, of fueling your mind, your body, and your spirit with what sharpens, not numbs you. You can't afford to leak energy on things that don't matter. The bold don't chase drama. They don't entertain distraction. They know every ounce of their energy must be guarded like gold. You want more energy? Align your actions with your mission. Cut the noise. Cut the compromise. Cut the maybe people. Because every time you choose clarity over confusion, you get stronger. And that strength compounds. You show up differently when you know what you're building. You speak differently when you know who you are. You move differently when your soul is no longer negotiating with fear. And that movement, that's where momentum is born. Not in massive leaps, but in small, bold steps taken consistently. In choosing to rise instead of snooze. In choosing to speak when silence would be easier. In choosing to build when no one claps, no one watches, and no one understands. Because the bold don't build for applause. They build for alignment. And over time, that alignment becomes impact. Impact isn't about being known. It's about being felt. It's about leaving something behind in every room you enter, whether it's hope, conviction, courage, or clarity. It's about changing lives not by being loud, but by being lit up with purpose. Because that's what draws others in. Not perfection, not performance. Presence, realness, conviction. And that kind of presence, it only lives in the bold. When you stop editing yourself, filtering yourself, hiding yourself, when you show up full and apologetic, unshakable, alive with intention, you don't need to push anymore. You pull. You attract. You magnetize. Because people are starving for bold souls who live what they say. You want influence? Be the example. You want legacy? Live loud enough that your echo outlives your voice. Because that's what life gives its highest rewards to. Not to those who waited. Not to those who wished. But to those who walked forward while afraid, while unprepared, while imperfect, but with hearts that burned brighter than their doubt. This is your call. To be bold. Not one day. Every day. In how you think. In how you move. In how you serve. In how you love. In how you lead. Let this be the moment you stop shrinking. Stop hesitating. Stop negotiating your future. And start living like you're already the person you were meant to be. Because boldness is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you already are without apology. Life rewards the bold, not in theory, in reality. And that reward, it's waiting. On the other side of your first step, keep walking. Keep choosing bold. Keep becoming. And as you keep becoming piece by piece, step by step, what you'll realize is this. Boldness doesn't just change your life. It changes the atmosphere around you. It gives permission. It breathes courage into rooms that forgot what it looked like. It lifts heads, straightens spines, and reminds the world that strength is not the absence of struggle. It's the decision to rise in the middle of it. You were not put here to tiptoe through life hoping to land safely in death. You were not given this breath, this fire, this vision, just to blend in. You were born to shake the ground with your presence, to walk into each day like it was your responsibility to bring the light, not because you're perfect, but because you are aware that your life is a story being written in real time, and you are both the pen and the author. And boldness is how you refuse to let someone else write the ending. So many people are living secondhand lives. They're borrowing beliefs, inheriting expectations, subscribing to systems that never fit who they were meant to be. But not you. Not anymore. Because the bold burn the script. They don't ask, what should I do? They ask, what must I do to live aligned, awake, alive? And then they do it. Afraid? Yes. Uncertain? Often. But willing? Always. That willingness is what separates the inspired from the impactful. It's what separates the one who dreams from the one who does. You want to leave a mark? Don't seek attention. Seek alignment. Don't chase likes. Chase legacy. Don't run after comfort. Run after calling. Because your calling will stretch you. It will cost you. It will ask you to grow into someone stronger than the version of you that's simply surviving. But it will reward you with something no comfort zone ever could. A life that feels like truth. A life that feels like home. A life that echoes. And as you walk boldly into that life, let discipline walk with you. Discipline is the silent partner of boldness. It's what ensures that your breakthrough isn't just a moment, it's a lifestyle. Because being bold once is easy. Anyone can post something daring, make a speech, take a leap. But can you be bold daily? Can you be bold at 5 a.m. when it's dark and no one's clapping? Can you be bold when the world says slow down, blend in, give up? Can you be bold when boldness costs you the applause of the average? That's where the real rewards live. On the far side of discipline, on the other side of the ordinary, in the territory few are willing to cross. Because the truth is, most people will never taste what's truly possible or not. Because they couldn't, but because they wouldn't. They wouldn't say yes to themselves. They wouldn't act while it was still messy. They wouldn't bet on their own potential when it was still unproven. But the bold say yes before they feel ready. They step up before they know all the steps. They trust the vision inside more than the noise outside. And that trust, that fierce, unshakable self-trust is what sets them apart. You don't have to know every detail. You just have to move. And every step forward is a signal to the world, to the subconscious, to the future, that you are coming for what's yours. Not because you're entitled, but because you are entrusted. Entrusted with a mission. Entrusted with a message. Entrusted with a gift that will rot in the soil if you never give it light. So give it light. Give it time. Give it structure. Give it breath and movement and consistency and sacrifice. Let it take root. Let it grow into something bigger than you. Because that's what boldness is for. It's not for show. It's for service. It's not for ego. It's for impact. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who are so on fire with what they were born to do that fear melts in their presence. And you are that personif you choose to be. So choose. Choose bold when it's quiet. Choose bold when it hurts. Choose bold when it's lonely. Choose bold when it's inconvenient. Choose bold not once, but always. Because boldness is not what you do. It's who you are when you stop hiding. When you stop negotiating. When you stop handing the pen to people who were never meant to write your story. Take it back. Take your life back. Live like the world is waiting on your fire to wake up. And maybe it is. Because somewhere out there, someone is waiting to see someone like you go first. to be the proof, to be the spark, to be the one who lived bold. And if not you, then who? If not now, then when? That moment you've been waiting for, the one where everything feels right, the stars align and you suddenly feel brave, it's a myth. It's a lie. It's a trap set by fear to keep you waiting. The bold don't wait for the moment. They make the moment. They take the uncertainty, the chaos, the doubt, and they walk anyway. They move forward anyway. They speak up anyway. Because boldness isn't a reaction to conditions. It's a commitment to your calling. And every time you act from that space, from truth, from mission, from inner fire, you teach the world how to treat you. You teach life what you're ready for. You tell fear it no longer has the final word. And that changes everything. It changes how people see you. It changes how you see yourself. You begin to recognize the difference between noise and signal, between pressure and purpose, between comfort and calling. And from that recognition, something deeper awakens. You stop chasing the path others carved. You start creating your own. You stop trying to fit in. You start standing out. Because the bold don't follow maps, they follow conviction. They don't need a guarantee, they move on gut. They understand that clarity is not a prerequisite, it's a result. And it only comes through movement. So they move. They move even when it's messy, even when the steps are shaky, even when no one believes in them yet. Because they've learned, belief doesn't come before action, it follows it. You want to believe in yourself? Then prove yourself to yourself. Not with words, with action. Show yourself that when it gets hard, you don't fold, you rise. Show yourself that when things fall apart, you build again. Show yourself that no matter what happened before, no matter what mistakes you made, no matter who doubted you, you are still standing, still swinging, still willing to go again. And that willingness, that's what makes you unstoppable. Because the bold don't need perfect circumstances. They need a reason. And if your reason is strong enough, your excuses evaporate. If your reason is deep enough, your setbacks become setups. If your reason is real enough, your fear bows in reverence. You stop needing external pressure. You're pulled from within. That pull, that's purpose in motion. That's boldness, becoming your new baseline. And as that baseline rises, so does your identity. No longer the hesitant one. No longer the almost. No longer the I was going to. Now you're the example. Now you're the evidence. Now you're the reason someone else believes they can. Because boldness is contagious. It spreads. It lifts. It activates. Your courage becomes a mirror. And when people see themselves in you, they remember who they are. That's the real reward of the bold, not just success, but significance. Not just wealth, but witness that you were here, that you lived on purpose, that you didn't waste the fire. So let the world call you obsessed. Let them say you're too intense. Let them call you crazy. The bold are crazy enough to believe they can change the world. And often they do. History doesn't remember the safe. It remembers the ones who moved mountains when they were told to sit still. The ones who said yes when logic screamed no. The ones who showed up with vision while others were still asking for permission. So ask yourself, right now, what are you waiting for? A better time? A louder sign? A more perfect plan? That waiting is a trap. Your future doesn't need more thinking. It needs more doing. It needs you to get in the ring, to throw the punch, to make the call, to speak the truth, to build the thing, to become the one who doesn't just talk about it, but lives it. Because every second you hesitate is a second you could have been bold. And boldness is how you meet life at its fullest potential. It's how you stop surviving and start soaring. It's how you stop existing and start impacting. And if there's one truth that will echo through every chapter of your story, it's this: life rewards the bold. And those rewards, they're not always instant. They're not always loud. Sometimes they come like whispers at the end of a quiet day. Sometimes they arrive in silence, in the calm knowing that you showed up, that you stayed true, that you walked forward when every part of you wanted to turn back. But they come. Oh, they come. They come in the form of doors opening that you never knew existed. People reaching out who were waiting for someone just like you to go first. Opportunities appearing not because they magically showed up, but because boldness turned you into someone who could finally see them. The bold develop eyes others don't. They see chances where others see challenge. They see possibilities where others see problems. They see themselves clearly, wholly, completely because they stopped hiding behind hesitation. You want confidence? Here's the secret. Confidence is the reward of boldness, not the prerequisite. You don't get confident and then you act until you become confident. You act until the voice of doubt is drowned out by the roar of progress. You act until the mirror reflects not who you used to be, but who you chose to become. And the moment you understand that, you become dangerous. Dangerous to fear. Dangerous to mediocrity. Dangerous to every old version of you that accepted less, that waited longer, that settled for good enough. Because the bold don't settle. They elevate. They elevate the room, the standard, the energy, the expectation. And most of all, they elevate themselves. They refuse to play at a level that insults their potential. They don't pretend to be fine when they know they were made for more. They don't mask their hunger. They honor it. And they don't apologize for wanting to rise. That kind of person, they're unstoppable. Because nothing on this planet can stop someone who refuses to betray themselves. And that's what boldness is. Radical self-loyalty. It's looking in the mirror and saying, I've got you. Every time. Through failure. Through fatigue. Through fear. And then showing up like you meant it. Not once. Not for a season. But for life. You live bold. Not for the outcome. But for the alignment. You live bold because the alternative dullness, delay, disconnection costs too much. The bold would rather lose trying than die wondering. Because in the end, regret doesn't come from what you failed at. It comes from what you never started, the words you never spoke, the risks you never took, the version of you that stayed buried because you were too polite to unleash it. But no more. This is not the season for shrinking. This is not the chapter for silence. This is not the life for hiding. You were born to rise boldly, to build boldly, to speak boldly, to lead boldly. You were born to live in such fierce alignment that your very presence shifts rooms, expands minds, and awakens dormant greatness in others. And the best part? You don't need permission. You just need to remember. Remember the fire. Remember the dream. Remember the truth that was in you before the world taught you to play small. Let it burn again. Let it roar. Let it lead you into the next chapter of your life, a chapter not defined by fear, but by fierce, unapologetic action. Because the bold don't wait for things to change. They become the change. They don't sit back and wonder. They step forward and win. Not always the first time, not always without pain, but always with purpose, always with power, and always with the inner knowing. Life doesn't reward the perfect. It doesn't reward the passive. It doesn't reward the patient. Life rewards the bold.